Beneath 2 kilometers of Antarctic ice lies something that defies every natural explanation we have. Radiating heat, bending electromagnetic signals, and appearing, briefly, on thermal scans in the shape of a human figure. This is not speculation. It's data. Verified, repeatable, and completely unexplained. It started as routine work. In late 2023, a joint team from the British Antarctic Survey, the University of California, and Norway's Polar Institute deployed next-generation ground-penetrating radar over one of the most isolated regions on Earth, East Antarctica's interior plateau. The technology was designed to map ancient ice layers, to read the continent's frozen memory, one stratum at a time. But during a single pass, the radar returned something impossible. Straight lines, parallel, symmetrical. A grid pattern stretching hundreds of meters beneath the ice. Nature doesn't build grids. Glaciers warp, fracture, fold under their own immense weight. They don't carve 90-degree angles into bedrock. The team ran the scan again. The image sharpened. Density analysis suggested the object was denser than surrounding sediment, closer to compacted basalt, or engineered stone. Even stranger, the ice directly above the formation showed an unusual thermal signature, uniform, controlled, as if the object itself had once emitted heat. As the radar data circulated through research networks, geophysicists began analyzing magnetometer scans from the same region. What they found made no sense. Magnetic field readings spiked to nearly 300 times the surrounding baseline, localized in a symmetrical ring around the structure. Not scattered, not random, deliberate. Then someone checked the archives. Declassified U.S. Navy scans from the 1950s showed the same magnetic blip. It had been there for decades, dismissed as instrument error, forgotten. Until now. Ice cores extracted from directly above the structure contained something unexpected. Fossilized pollen. Thousands of grains. Species that no longer exist in Antarctica. Temperate grasses, shrubs, flowering plants. Genotypes known only from fossil beds in Tasmania and southern South America. Carbon dating placed them at roughly 12,000 years old. That means this region was once ice-free, warm enough to support ecosystems. And if plants could grow there, so could people. In 2024, a glaciologist in Oslo made a startling connection. While reviewing Cold War reconnaissance archives, she found a Corona satellite image from October 3, 1962, captured during a rare clear sky window over East Antarctica. The image showed a faint rectangular depression on the ice surface. Coordinates, identical to the buried structure. 3 months after the photo was logged, the entire reel was reclassified, removed from public access, only declassified in 2019. When researchers overlaid the 1962 image onto modern radar maps, the depression aligned perfectly with the formation's perimeter. The structure had been visible once, before the ice swallowed it again. On March 14, 2025, seismic stations across East Antarctica recorded a deep tremor. Origin, 2.3 kilometers below the ice, directly beneath the anomaly. It lasted 11 seconds. The waveform was symmetrical, precise, not chaotic like a natural icequake. It occurred 3 hours after researchers conducted a high-gain radar pulse scan, a scan designed to map the structure in 3 dimensions. Some believe the scan may have triggered a response, a shift, or a release. Weeks later, a logistics report surfaced briefly on a shared European research portal. It listed a core sample labeled Void Return 2B. Unlike others, this one had no GPS coordinates, no depth metadata, just a single notation. Volatile material detected. Thermal lock required. Chemical analysis revealed elevated levels of isobutane and xenon, rare atmospheric gases, not found in glacial ice, but common in controlled environments, sealed chambers, or ventilation systems. 2 technicians involved in the analysis were reassigned. Non-disclosure agreements were signed. The sample has not been discussed publicly since. By mid-2025, communication teams noticed something else. Within a 3.5-kilometer radius of the structure, radio signals began to fail. High-frequency telemetry, satellite uplinks, drone control systems, all degraded or disappeared entirely. When engineers switched to VLF, very low frequency, backup systems, capable of penetrating deep water and bedrock, the signal echoed back, delayed by exactly 2.73 seconds, as if bouncing off something flat, reflective, metallic. Drones flying overhead experienced compass drift and altitude sensor failures. One Swiss mapping unit registered negative elevation, as if it were flying underground, while still in the air. On the night of July 3, 2025, a German research balloon equipped with infrared radiometry captured something that should not exist. At 0027 UTC, a heat signature appeared on the ice, bipedal, human-sized. It moved 11 meters across the surface, paused, then vanished. No expedition was within 48 kilometers, no vehicles, no drones, no registered flights. Infrared motion sensors around the perimeter triggered twice that night. Visual feeds showed nothing, just empty ice under starlight. We don't know what the structure is, we don't know who built it, or when, but we know this: it exists. It's geometric, magnetized, thermally active. It once stood above ground in a time when Antarctica was green, and something about it, whether by design or decay, is still responding. In 1961, 12 nations signed the Antarctic Treaty, agreeing to preserve the continent for science and peace. But preservation assumes we know what we're protecting. Subscribe for updates as the investigation continues.